I want to show you something small and brilliant today that I think will help you and certainly helps me as a writer who uses Macs and iPhones and iPads. But first, if you're watching this as it originally goes out in at the very end of July 2021, I want to tell you about August. And if you're watching much later, well, still want to tell you about August, but in that case, you can click a button below and just see everything I'm talking about in a playlist waiting for you. Throughout August, you and I are going to be talking, well, if things go to plan anyway, we're going to be talking with other writers who use Macs and iPhones and iPads. I mean, I want to tell you all about, let me tell you too. I've already recorded an interview with a New York Times best-selling author and Star Trek novelist, Dr. Una McCormack, writer-musician Des Tong, who I think you're going to find is more of a Mac fan than you are. There's more. I can't tell you yet, but you'll see them all throughout August 2021 or later in a nice, handy, convenient playlist. I am ecstatic about this. I mean, you and I getting to sit down with some superb, and as it turns out, very funny writers who use Macs and iPhones and iPads. Great. But for today, the small and brilliant thing, this thing, guys, can seem like magic. Unless you already use it, in which case you kind of you work with me on this one. The thing is, this is the big secret. Your Mac has a secret, hidden, built-in scanner. It's just that scanner is called your iPhone. I don't mean, you can buy scanning apps for your iPhone and things, and I don't mean that at all. I mean your iPhone as it is right now and your Mac as it is right now, they together can be a scanner, and a very, very good one. Hello, I'm William Gallagher, and this is 58 Keys, which, as ever, as always, is for writers like you and me who write on Macs and iPhones and iPads and today use scanners. Do subscribe, by the way, because there's just so much to talk about. This is about pretty proper scanning. I mean, just real document scanning into your Mac. But I need to say this though. Let me say this. What I'm about to show you is rubbish. If you're on a research trip, you're in an archive, a library, you need to scan thousands of documents. I mean, what I'm going to show you, it'll work, but you'll be weeping within the first hour, okay? Whereas if it's a short document, a couple of pages, a few documents, this is superb. Saves your neck and saves you having to buy a scanner. Now, I know you might well have a printer, and there's so many printers have scanners built in, but printers are manufactured by the devil, and we must banish them. Yeah, okay, focus. All right. Let's have a look. Here's a script. Right, I have a paper copy of a superb script, and I want to keep a digital version. Hang on, I've got a thing I want to scan, got the Mac, got the iPhone scanner. Let's play our game. And our game, just so you know, is called Continuity Camera. It's not the most exciting name, but what it does is pretty good. First, open a Finder window on your Mac, just like this. Now click anywhere on any blank space. From the pop-up menu, actually right-click, sorry, on any blank space. From the pop-up menu that appears, choose Import from iPhone. You might see Import from iPad if that's what you happen to have. And then when you click on whichever of those, the pop-out menu you get might list a couple of iPhones or iPads, again, depending on what you've got. Pick one of them, and under it, choose Scan Documents. Notice how the camera on your iPhone has turned on by itself, and actually you're immediately in Apple's scanning app. I mean, the scanning feature really, because it's not a separate app. I don't know how to open that if it isn't done this way. It's a scanning feature, and your Mac has just opened it up for you. Right, position the first page in the camera. Yeah, okay, that sometimes happens. It's a good thing, just sometimes unexpectedly. Sometimes the scanning app is so certain that it has detected the document that you want to scan, and that it's detected the edges of the page so that you're not going to be photographing, 1,000 photocopies of your desk or something. It's so certain it's got it right that it just takes the photo. It's your eye for going, yeah, bring it on. And then sometimes it's your iPhone actually go, possibly need a bit of help here, just a tiny bit. Let me show you what more often happens with this next page. You get the document in frame, and the iPhone, it tries to figure out what's page, what's desk, and all that, but something is stopping it, something is confusing it, and you'll never know what it is. It doesn't matter. Tap the white button to take the shot. You know it's worth taking your time to get this right, the framing and things and the angles and all that stuff, but it's not as worth your time as you think. Look what happens. You get a preview of the image that's just taken, but it includes these grab handles at the corners. You drag these around like so until just the document is highlighted. One odd thing, if you happen to like being very precise and you grab exactly on the grab handle, it doesn't work. But if you're kind of vaguely in the area, then it does. Straighten them all out, do the things. When you're happy that you've got the document framed just so, tap on Keep Scan. And now you could, and actually most of the time you probably will, scan a second page and a third and a fourth and so on forever. Just by standing there, turning the pages, tapping the button, you keep taking, you scan each document into one file a page at a time, and then when you're done, you hit save. Disconcertingly, the moment you do that, this scanning feature just switches off. It's so fast off, you will be convinced it's crashed, and sometimes it has. What's happened though is the Mac is done with it, closed it, you look back at the Mac, and there is the document waiting for you. Notice as we open it though, the Mac has adjusted the image and your iPhone together to try to make it as close as possible to what you would get from a physical flatbed scanner. It has straightened it out. Yeah, you could actually shoot at a funny angle and it would undo that. I mean, don't do it, but you could. The Mac will handle little mistakes really well. Two things. First is, I like doing this the way you just saw because the end result is a document, a file on my Mac, and I can then do whatever I like with it. If you know, though, that you're just doing this to keep a copy in Apple Notes, you can scan it exactly this way directly into Notes or Pages or many apps, and not all of them, but certainly all the ones that Apple makes. Exactly the same thing. You choose a menu option. It might be in the edit or the insert menu, depending on the app, but it's the same insert from iPhone or iPad. Click on that, do it. Or again, actually, in almost all of them, possibly all, you can right click in a blank spot and import the image to exactly that point in the document. I don't tend to put a lot of images in my Pages documents, but I do tend to email images to people a lot. So yeah, you can do exactly all of this in Mail as well. I said there were two things, and the second one isn't great. As long as it's your Mac and your iPhone, and they're on the same Wi-Fi network, and they both have Bluetooth on, and you've got the two side by side, I suppose, then all of this works, and it should just keep working forever. You should be able to scan and scan and scan until you're done. What I have found sometimes, though, is that after a few pages, it all just stops working. And there's no particular reason, and you have just lost everything. So 1 or 2 pages, fine. 3 or 4 pages, or I like the script when there's 60 pages in it and I want to get them all, I'll do it in batches, a few pages at a time. There are alternatives, by the way, to using your iPhone as a camera. I mean, there are scanning apps on the iPhone and things, and those actually, it's been like an arms race between them. They've got better and better, and there's still some reasons to use them, just not as handy. Sometimes, though, what you're going to need is this, an overhead scanner. You use that when you have a mass research job. I've done books where I've had to photograph and scan 4,000-5,000 pages of scripts and letters and documents and things. Doing that with your phone, yeah, that's the thing that will make you weep. Using one of these, more helpful, but we'll talk about it another time. What you've just seen, though, I found it so handy for the odd one-off thing, like yesterday when I had to photograph my credit card receipt and try to justify buying the most expensive keyboard I've ever bought. Apple's Magic Keyboard for iPad Pro is very good, but yeah, don't let me think about that. Let me remind you about August. We're going to have a series of interviews with writers who use Macs and iPhones and iPads, as I said, but then there is more. From September 2021 onwards, 58 Keys begins its third season, and it's going to be bigger. There'll still be things like today's where we'll talk about small little tools for Macs, iPhones, services for writers and so on, but there'll be a lot more specials. We'll go deep dives into writing apps that are most useful to us, writing services as well, really detailed examinations of what they're good for and what they're not. And then we're going to begin with an entire series on the best Apple devices for writers to buy out of all of them. So the best Macs, MacBook, iPad, iPhone, Apple Watch even, the best Apple Watch for writers. Yes. Let me know in the comments, by the way, if you'd want me to do AirPods as well, because I don't really have an awful lot to say about them, but you know, it's good to have a short episode every now and again. I'll look into it as well. In each case, for the devices, though, what we will do is I will start by showing you the one I know is right for you as a writer, based on what we do as writers, based on what we need as writers, based on what budget writers tend to have. Then I'll also show you kind of like whatever the top of the range is, just so you can see the differences and start judging whether the extra cost is worth it for you. And then lastly, I'll show you the one that I bought anyway, which in every single case is different, mostly because of money, but there are reasons as well, and I'll explain those. That's a whole series of specials coming up in September. By the way, I should say September is when we're going to get new iPhones, a new Apple Watch, possibly more. These episodes will be specific about the devices that you can buy as I record them, but I kind of want this to be useful for a bit longer than a week. So they will also be about how you pick at any time, how you assess the differences between them at any time. That's the plan for the specials in the new third season of 58 Keys, following all the great interviews. God, just can't wait to show those to you. In the meantime, thank you, by the way, to the UK's Art Council for their help, especially with those interview episodes. That was tremendous of them. And also, thank you to you for watching this edition of 58 Keys. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you soon.